Reference group is an important concept in consumer behavior because of the kind of influence they have over consumers. A reference group is defined as any person or group that serves as a point of comparison or reference for an individual. They serve as a point of reference for that individual in the matter of forming either general or specific values, attitudes, or behavior. A reference group is a group that serves as a frame of reference for individuals in their purchase or consumption decisions. There are 4 types of reference groups that I want to talk about. One is contractual group. This is a type of group whereby a customer holds membership or has face-to-face contact and of whose values, attitudes, and standards she approves. The second is aspirational group. And this is a group where a customer does not hold membership and does not have face-to-face contact, but wants to be a member. Basically, as an aspiration, they aspire to belong to this group. They wish to be members of this group, but they do not belong to it and cannot at the moment because of certain limitations. It could be financial, it could be other requirements that are needed for you to become a member or a recognized person within that kind of group setting. Real estate companies are very good, especially here in Kenya. They use names that help those who aspire. They actually use this idea of tapping the aspirational group. So they say, if an estate like Runda is out of reach, they create Ruda View Estate for those who aspire to live in Ruda but cannot for various reasons. They then go to Karen and create a name. In fact, I know there is this estate called Karen View. Karen View Apartments or something like that, meaning that you can view Karen when you are there, but in actual fact, the aspiration around that is that you belong to people who live in that Karen neighborhood or the outskirts of Karen, and it might motivate you to do what it takes to be able to move to Karen neighborhood. That's an aspirational group. Now, the third group is a disclaimant group. This is a group where a person holds membership or has face-to-face contacts, but disapproves of the group's values, attitudes, and behavior. They belong to the group at the present time, but they are striving to move out of that group. And in due course, they will get out, because once you change your mind and stop holding the same values, or you start disapproving of the values of a group you belong to, you will work to get out of that group. And this means that if you are marketing, you have to recognize that this kind of person who is disclaiming of a group, they are unlikely to buy products and services or brands that are associated or identified with that group. And so in communication, you have to know which groups have broader appeal, which groups have the impact over the consumer that you are targeting. The fourth group is the avoidance group. Avoidance group, in this case, is a person who does not hold membership in a group and does not have face-to-face contact with the group and disapproves of the values, attitudes, and behavior of that group. This means that this is a group that the customer avoids being associated with and would not like to be seen to behave like its members, meaning that they wouldn't even want to be seen to buy products and services that are associated with that group. I think in the US, the hippie movement used to be one such group. In Kenya, people avoid being associated with criminal groups, looking like gangsters or drug dealers. One of the reasons particularly here is because of the way the police tend to arrest people at random. In the past, it was Mungiki. If you look like you belong to Mungiki, whether you belong to Mungiki or not, you'll be arrested, locked up, and even maybe pay a price. But from a marketing perspective, it's about looking at how the customer will interact and relate with products and services that you put out and your communication. So you seek to ensure that you communicate in a way that you do not associate with the avoidance group perspective. Otherwise, it will cost you business. Marketers are interested in understanding reference groups mainly because of their influence on consumer conformity. They are particularly interested in the ability of the reference group to change consumer attitudes and behavior. That is the ability to encourage conformity. In order to be capable of such influence, a group must first be able to inform or make the individuals within the group aware of a specific product, service, or brand. They must have a mechanism for creating awareness. Secondly, is that the group must be able to provide the individual with the opportunity to compare his or her own thinking with the attitude and behavior of the group. The third thing that is required is that the group must be able to legitimize and encourage the individual's decision to use the same product as the group does. The whole business of multi-level marketing and the whole concept of referencing of customers to other customers comes from this concept of reference groups. And today you see even banks seeking to get references from their customers to other customers. In the past, we've seen insurance use this approach of seeking to get kind of reference and association in that kind of manner. But today, it's become a very common strategy. Now, let's look at the applications of reference groups. People or group situations with whom a target audience can identify are generally used to promote goods and services by subtly inducing the prospective consumer to identify with the pictured user of the product or service. So this is based on aspiration, empathy, or recognition. So aspiration, it's somebody you're looking up to. Empathy, you can see yourself in the same situation. You can identify with the person and the situation that they are in. So it kind of more familiarity. And then recognition is somebody who you recognize, but may not necessarily aspire to be like, but you recognize. I want to stop here for this video so that I can come back to another session on the types of reference group appeals. Thank you for staying with me. All the best as you go to apply the reference group concept and as you recognize the importance of reference group in consumer behavior. We all need to elevate our mindsets at this time.